What's up and welcome back to another video. Guys, today and over the next 24 hours, I'm going to be challenging myself to build the best clone base that I can in just 24 hours. So without further ado, let's get right on into this challenge. My first order of business was building the foundation for this base. I wanted to elevate it by one brick just so I had some room to make different areas and depth different along this terrain area, just so it looked a little bit more realistic and not just like a big flat area. Once I did that, I filled it in with a bunch of filler brick and then started putting all of my plates on. I did gray for where the base was going to sit, and then I started on the terrain, which is going to be black, as this is Umbara, if you could not have already guessed based on all of the different black bricks that I was using in this terrain. I tried to get it a little bit different areas of terrain raised and others down a little bit just to make it look a little bit more natural. After I did that, I moved my focus toward the base where I started to build up the walls. After some trial and error, I came up with a design that I liked, utilizing some different slopes techniques just to make it look a bit more rounded out and look a little more, once again, realistic and have some depth. Okay, I've finished the basic layout for this base as well as the start of what I'm going to do for the outside. I think I want to make some more room on the outside a little later, but next I want to work on the interior of the base. Unfortunately, I used most of my plates right now and in another mock thing that I'm working on that you'll have to stay tuned for because I don't want to spoil anything in this video, but I probably won't be able to put a roof on it. I mean, I can try, but I might just leave the roof open. It wouldn't necessarily make sense as Umbara is a kind of hostile planet, but it should be fine. But I think the next order of business for me is going to be doing the interior of this base. Shifting my focus to the interior, I know I wanted to have a nice rounded out area in here, but with the number of pieces that I was able to use for this mock, I wasn't going to be able to make any separate rooms, so it had to be all in one flat open area. I started on the left side by tiling it off and putting in some different beds that I could use for a med bay later on. Now, I had to struggle to round up all of the pieces as I am currently working on another mock, and this was kind of a bit of an afterthought for this video, but I was able to scrounge up just enough pieces to tile this off, albeit struggling quite a bit. I tried to get a nice balance of stud to tile ratio, so I had room to put minifigs and other things on top of the studs, but also having a nice tiled look later on. Now that the base is looking good, it's time to focus on the outside of this base and the battlefield. However, there's not really enough room for a battlefield, so I went and put together another base plate of just black bricks. There's nothing really going on here just yet. Let's see if I can get it lined up nicely. But now that we have got this, it was kind of a pain to stretch the pieces, just a lot of laying stuff down. Now that this is set up though, I think it's time to get the detailing going, so it's not just a big wasteland out here. We need some more details, and then we can start to build the battle out here. Now that we have an actual battlefield, there just wasn't enough room in front of the base. I also have to do the detailing in the base. So I'm going to do all the detailing for this outside area to make it look like Umbara and not just a big black plate. So I'm going to get on with that. Shifting my focus to the terrain of this mock, I know Umbara has a lot of odd fauna and plants, I guess is the word to use for it. A bunch of odd different things kind of going on, so I tried to recreate them best I could with the small amount of pieces that I had. I tried to get as much diversity in there as well, just so nothing really repeated itself more than once, and overall I was pretty happy with how it turned out. Okay, the basic detailing is done for the exterior as well as the interior of the base. The terrain is looking pretty good. I was kind of running low on pieces, so I wasn't able to be as much like filled out as I wanted it to be, but the left side has like the start of like the little forest with all of the different foliage and fauna and stuff like that, so it's filled up nicely, and then the other side's got a little bit as well, and then I left a nice big lane open in the middle where the battle is going to take place, and I wanted to put some vehicles as well. I figured the Republic fighter tanks would be perfect for the Umbara In terrain because it can drive over all of the nasty stuff that's out there, so we've got to have two of those, I think maybe three, maybe one in the base. I don't know, I don't want to fill it up too much. I want to let the actual terrain shine through as well, not just be filled up of a bunch of random things. And then we'll have the separatists. Unfortunately, I don't have any Umbara In minifigures, so we're just gonna have to use the droids for this one. But I think it's time that I put on the finishing touches, the rest of the detailing, and add in the minifigures and finish off this mock. Now it's time to stage this battle. I put in General Grievous as well as some of my battle-starred clones to make a nice little scene at the start. Then I started filling up with a bunch of other clones as well as the Republic fighter tanks and an AAT to add some firepower to both sides. Once I had all of the clones in, I started to put in some different droids as well as some super battle droids, B1s, and also some commando droids, making a flank on the left side. I'm pretty happy with how all of the placement turned out for this. I also put in a small spider droid just to add some more firepower for the droids because I think they're going to need it if they want to take over this clone base. And the mock is finished with little time to spare on the 24 hours, and I'm actually pretty happy with how this turned out. I think the battlefield turned out better than I thought it was going to. I was kind of stressing because I didn't think I was going to have enough pieces, but I was able to get it done. Now, I did actually make this module, so it should be easier to take a look at because I can just take these apart. They come together pretty easily. Well, I guess not if they all fall apart just like that, but it makes it a lot easier to actually move this around and show it off, which is always a problem sometimes when you build a mock and it's just stuck together on one big thing. So we can first take a look at the battlefield, I suppose, at the start. If we move it along like this, I think this turned out better than I thought it was going to, especially with the amount of pieces that I had. I had this scene with General Grievous taking on some clones right there pretty quickly, made some quick work out of them, and I just like using those battle-scarred clone troopers that I put together because it just adds a lot to the scene. You can see they're all getting stabbed there. You have some more that have been slashed up, and then you have all the other clones who are pretty drastically outnumbered. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to hold this off for much longer, but I kind of just went for that basic kind of terrain with a bunch of different foliage and stuff to try and fill it out best I could. In the little forest area, I've got some commando droids and that spider droid, and then we also have that AAT in the back to back up all of the droids. And now we can move to the main part of the base. Putting the two base plates back together, you can see it kind of comes together pretty seamlessly. For the front of the base, I'm actually pretty happy with how the front of the base turned out. I wish that I could have gone a little bit bigger and put the roof on. It just wasn't possible with the number of pieces that I had right now for this mock, but it connects pretty seamlessly. You have even more of the 501st coming out to try and hold off the Separatists before reinforcements can get here. You also have the two Republic fighter tanks that I like the size of because they fit in very well coming through the doorway right there, which I think turned out pretty well. I like the design that I ended up going for, and I'm happy that the Republic fighter tank's able to fit through, and then this one coming out from the side as well to, you know, help go up against General Grievous and the rest of the Separatists, as well as the AAT, because they got some pretty mean firepower out there that the clones are going to have to try and match. The walls, nothing really special going on. I tried to go for a nice little sloped design to give it a little more depth, and then on the sides, just kind of flat. I would have liked to have done a little more detailing on the sides, but it is kind of a dead spot of the mock that you're not really going to see, so I figured I would delegate the detailing for that to other spots as well. But overall, pretty happy with how the front turned out and how this overall battlefield ended up looking. So let's move on to the interior of the base. Now moving on to the interior of the base, I tried to fill this out best I could with the time that I had, and I think I did a okay job. I would have liked to have done some separate little buildings and stuff and different rooms in here, but just with the time and pieces that I had available for this mock, it wasn't going to happen. But even though it is just a big open area, I think I still got a fair amount of detail. Starting off on the left right here, we have our little bit of a med bay right here with the little beds. We have our clone medic working on two clones who are not doing so good. They're laying out on those beds, getting worked on, checked out. And then back here, you have a little storage area where you have your clones' helmets, as well as just some extra storage and stuff like that. Then you have this, I don't know, some sort of crane to move different crates around. You can kind of just throw those crates on the back so you can move them around the base nice and easily, and you can go around. He also has that little crane in the front to pick stuff up and put stuff down. So I thought that was a nice little addition. It also adds a bit of color there with the yellow on the rest of the otherwise very gray mock. Then coming back here, you have a small little weapon rack where these clones are running to get their weapons to go out and help in the battle. And then over on the right side, you have your little bit of a bridge area, or I don't know, command center with all of your tech and stuff and your radars and stuff like that. And you also have a meeting with all of the important people. You have an officer right here, as well as Rex, Fives, and Anakin. All looking pretty good. These are some really nice minifigs, so I was happy to put them in. I guess this would be before Krell came to take over Anakin's spot, and we all know how that went for the clones, unfortunately. So I guess this is like their base that they set up when they first got down, and they're getting taken down. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have put the Umbarans in this battle. It's just I did not have any of the Umbaran minifigures, and I did not have the time or money to get them for this mock. But overall, I was actually very happy with how this mock turned out. I had a lot of fun building this. I saw when I did the smaller scale Umbara for that other mock video, a lot of people wanted to see me do a larger scale Umbara, so I took this on. Not the biggest mock, but I am planning to start a large scale mock series in the future, so definitely stay tuned for that. I'll be releasing a little more information on that soon, but that is going to do it for this mock. Let me know what you guys thought. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this mock as much as I did, and if you want to see more mocks or other LEGO content, make sure to check out my other videos and drop a subscribe on this channel, because I do try and post daily and get as many videos out for you guys as I can. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe. Drew, signing out.